The defendant in this case defends this action by suggesting that while it is quite true that there was an accident on December 14th, 1984, that while plaintiff was taken to a local hospital and received emergency treatment, the defendant disputes the nature and extent of the injuries and the disability. The defendant disputes that anything that the plaintiff felt following the accident, or, that is, for some period of time after the accident, was related to this particular accident, which is before you. That, in sum and substance, is what the defendant claims as part of this defense. That, in sum and substance, is what the defendant claims as part of his defense. I will not go into all of the other factors. I will commit them to your own memory and recollection. Now, in order for you to come to a verdict in this case that would be consistent with truth and justice, you must analyze, and you must digest, and you must give a critique to each of the witnesses who testified. That is to say, you must consider all of the testimony of the witnesses and determine for yourselves that testimony which you believe is worthy of acceptance, but merits your rejection if that be the case. In essence, ladies and gentlemen, you must determine the question of credibility. You must find, ladies and gentlemen, as in all jury cases, and you must ask yourselves, where does the truth lie? You see, ladies and gentlemen, this trial, in essence, is a search for the truth. How, I ask you, does one arrive at a verdict based upon the evaluation of testimony? How does one make the determination as to whether or not one is truthful or not, is not truthful? How does a jury determine whether or not testimony is worthy of his or her acceptance or worthy of his rejection? In that regard, ladies and gentlemen, I would comment and commit you to these tests. Each of you comes from every walk of life. Each of you is filled with the experiences of life. Each of you is endowed with a great deal of intelligence. Each of you is filled with a great deal of common sense. Each of you is called upon by hundreds in each given week, by the thousands in each given year, to make judgments with respect to situations. A moment does not pass, a day does not pass when you are not called upon to make decisions upon people and situations. This is all part of the experience of life. This is what makes a person. This is what makes the human factor far superior to anything else. The ability to use the power to reason, the ability to use the power of common sense, and the ability to use one's experience and one's intelligence. I ask that you call upon all of those factors in making the determinations in this case. Ask yourself, was such a response given by such a witness consistent with common sense? Was it consistent with truth? Was it consistent with justice? These are questions of credibility, and in that regard, if you find that any witness gave false testimony deliberately as to any material fact, then you have the option of rejecting all of the testimony of that witness, or you can accept that which you believe is worthy of acceptance and reject that which you believe is not worthy of your acceptance. These are questions of credibility, and in that regard you can examine all of the documents in the case and determine for yourselves that which you will accept and that which you will reject based upon the believable quality of that which is contained in those documents. There were witnesses who testified in this case that have been described as experts. An expert witness is one who, in accordance with the law, can give an expert opinion. He is permitted, in accordance with the rules of evidence, to give opinion testimony based upon his experience, knowledge, special education in the field, and expertise.